Hey guys, Gacchiri here, another review. This time I'll be reviewing the GC11 Kamen Ghost Grateful Damashii from Kamen Ghost. This is the 11th entry in the Ghost Chain series, and it is a transforming figure that converts from Ore Damashii into Grateful Damashii. So, let's get started. As you can see, the figure just comes as you see here to start with. It doesn't include any accessories. So, we'll start by looking at the figure. So here we have Ghost in Ore Damashii, but you will notice that it is a little bit different from the GC01 Ghost Ore Damashii. In this case, you can see that they change it around so that it here has Ghost with the hood pulled back, but unlike the Kamen Ghost Tokon Boost Damashii and the Kamen Necrom figures, it's permanently pulled back rather than being a fold back hood on a hinge. You also see that there are some parts of Grateful Damashii hanging off of it, and the cuffs for the wrists and the ankles are gold instead of silver. Coming around to the back, we can also see this part here, which is a bit of kibble for the transformation, but it can also be removed. Just like so, and we'll set off to the side. This does do a good job at replicating Ore Damashii. As you can see, it has the ghost driver with the same kind of plastics used and paint as the one for GC01, has all of the orange lines going down it. The one thing to note is that as opposed to the GC01 figure, this uses solid black plastic instead of clear black. And that is for the look of Grateful Damashii. Though it still does retain the clear black part for the chest. Articulation wise, the first major thing is that because the helmet is not connected to the hood, it means this is the first Ghost Chain figure to actually have a free range movement for the head, which is quite nice. Of course, you have the other articulation that is standard. Arms go up and down, forward and back. A bicep swivel, single jointed elbows, wrist swivel, 2 finger joints, waist swivel, though you want to be careful with the waist as the belt is a moving part in this too. Let's go forward and back, in and out. Have a single jointed knee and thigh swivel, and ball jointed ankles. For a little comparison, here is the GC11 version of Ore Damashii next to the GC01 version. What you'll notice, aside from the obvious changes of the hood being pulled back, is that for the colors, the face has a deeper shade of orange, while the coat has a lighter shade. And this is actually a little bit more show accurate, so that's another nice little change. Besides that, you can see that they capture the details quite nicely, and it's a very good representation, even down to the parts on the shoulders, which interestingly enough still move, even though when removed this doesn't form a ghost. But without further ado, let's get to transforming him. So to start the transformation, of course, first we're going to remove the Ore Ghost by taking off the helmet part and removing the coat. And as you can see here, it has the same joints as on the other base bodies for Ghost Change figures. So if you want, you can use other ghosts on this figure. Next, start the conversion. We'll do the arms. For this, you first want to rotate them around. Rotate the fists around. Rotate these to the side. And we're actually going to do one more bit of rotation, which is to take this entire section and rotate it so that now this part is on the inner part of the elbow. Which is a little bit tricky just because when you try to do that, this part is going to want to rotate sometimes instead because this is a tighter joint. Do the same thing for the other one. The fist. Take the arm joint. Just like so. Then for the waist, take that and rotate it all the way around. Then take the legs, rotate them around like so, and rotate the armor inwards. That covers up the knee pads. Rotate the feet forward. And we're going to take this part that we set off before and clip it back on. Lift up the arms. Take this piece and rotate it around to the front. Rotate up these side panels. And take this entire section, flip it up, and latch it into place. And here we have Counter Ghost, Grateful Damashii. So as you can see, there was definitely quite a conversion process, as there were a lot of moving parts, and now you can barely see any of Ore Damashii here. In fact, you really can't see much at all of Ore Damashii, because in one little clever step, they actually have this little black part that covers up the lines for Ore Damashii that were formerly on the chest. And here we can see the design, which is a nice black and gold color scheme. Starting off with the head, you got a very cool design with all these different spikes and horns to that. You can see that for the horn it has the same shape as Ore Damashii, but it's gold with a green line going through it. And they also did a little bit of a reversal in terms of the face. It has the same face shape as Ore Damashii, but the compound effect is now for the eyes instead of the rest of the face, making it a little bit more similar to other riders. The other big details are that you have the symbols of the 15 ghosts throughout the armor. So, going in order, you have Musashi, Edison, Robin Hood, Newton, Billy the Kid, Beethoven, Benkei, Goemon, Ryoma, Himiko, Kamen, Nobunaga, Houdini, Grimm, and Sanzo, as well as the icon driver G here, which has a little bit of gold paint in it, but is otherwise mostly clear plastic. It's definitely a very impressive design. And while it does hinder some of the articulation, most notably the head now doesn't really have much articulation besides looking up and down a little bit, and even then it can only look up this much. You can no longer move it left and right because of these hinges that hold it in place. but you still have some articulation in other places. The shoulder pads are able to move around, so as to not hinder articulation too much. Of course, all the other joints are unhindered. And you can still move around the waist as well. On the back, we can see a bit of the parts of Ore Damashii, but it's mainly just the ghost driver and the orange lines. So it does quite a good job in covering up all that, so that for most angles to look at, you won't really see any of the leftover parts. Now, for Ore Damashii, he doesn't have any kind of exclusive weapons, and the idea of him is that, similar to Gaim Kiwami arms, he can use any of the weapons of his past forms. So you can pick and choose what you like, or give him a combination of different weapons. For example, you can give him the Sunglass Slasher in one hand, and the Gun Saber in the other. And have him dual wielding like that. Additionally, if you have the figure in Grateful Damashii, what you can do then is take the parts that were used to make Ore Damashii and use them with your GC01 figure. So you can just take the parka, snap it on like so, and place on the headpiece. And there, you have a bit more of a show-accurate Ghost Ore Damashii. So that's a very cool bonus, because what it means is that not only do you get the more show-accurate colors of the deeper colored visor and lighter colored parka, but now you get add head articulation. So it's a very cool little bonus. That really is quite a nice thing. And you can even display the two figures side by side. That's definitely something pretty neat. And definitely appreciated. And there we go. Overall, Ghost Grateful Damashii is a fantastic figure. As Ore Damashii, it does a good job of hiding the other mode. And even though you have that bit of kibble hanging off of the back, it is removable, so that's not too much of a problem. The conversion process is also nice and involved, with a lot of parts being rotated around, to the point where you're even rotating around the forearms, so that it has the same articulation in both modes. The end result is also very impressive to look at, with all the gold being a nice metallic paint, and all the symbols being intricately painted on as well. In addition, you have the hoodless Ore Ghost that you can use with your previous figure, and you can also use any other ghost that you've collected up to this point with this figure. So whether you're just starting out on the line, or you've been collecting up to this point, this is something that has a little bit of play value for both kind of situations. So, if you're into the Ghost Change series, regardless of how much you've collected, I can definitely recommend this figure. So next time, I'll be doing the LBX Xenon. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. And you can check me out on Facebook at facebook.com/KRX50. And for now, this is KRX50, writing off.